Hello everyone and welcome back to Reelin' with Rachel, where we are honing in on what we need to do to get ready for homeschooling this semester. At the time of this writing or this filming, it is still in the middle of a pandemic and a lot of us are turning to homeschooling, but there are several things that we need to do before we get started for the fall. So here are my 6 things you have to do before you start homeschooling. If you are thinking about homeschooling for fall 2020 or whenever you're watching this video, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be creating videos for you in mind, with you in mind, for you, all that stuff, because I've been homeschooling for a couple of years. I have 3 children, 2 in grade school. Ooh. 1 in junior high, 1 in grade school, and a toddler. And we've been homeschooling for a couple of years, like I said. So I'm not a guru or anything like that, but I know how difficult it can feel getting started and how overwhelming and scared and anxiety riddled your life is at the moment. So let me help you during this time. So let's dive right in. The first thing that you have to do before you start homeschooling is know your homeschool laws. Now, this is your first research project as a homeschool mama. You have to know what the homeschooling laws are for your individual state. They vary greatly. Some states are so strict, they require a certain amount of curriculum, certain amount of days, all this stuff that you have to log. And that doesn't mean you can't homeschool. That just means it's a little bit more work on your part, but that's okay. That's okay. It honestly might help you in the long run remain more consistent and stable throughout the homeschool year. Other states are more lax. Like some states just don't care about anything, whatever, but you have to know what your state requires. And if you're watching this video recently, like of the date publication or whatever, go ahead and research that now. That is something that you need to know about right now. That way you don't miss any deadlines accidentally or anything like that. So the second thing is to sign and submit any forms that are required of you to your superintendent, your school district, and your state. So those deadlines for my state are kind of coming up, but I already did it. Usually I wait till last minute, and I was going to wait till the last minute because I was planning on putting my kids back in public school, but we kind of got a good thing going on right now. Let's just stay home still. And so look up when those deadlines are and then submit those forms. You have to submit them, I think, both to your state. I don't know. That's what you're going to learn in your research. Go ahead and submit those if you know that homeschooling is for you. If you need a little bit more time, know when your deadline is to decide. Even if you put your kids in public school, there are options for you as a homeschooler or as a family to pull them out and homeschool them later if, for whatever reason, public school during coronavirus and all that fun stuff didn't work out. So there are options available to you, but go ahead and research everything. Submit the deadlines if you know that homeschooling is already for you. The third thing that you got to do before you start homeschooling is observe your children. Observe what kind of learners they are. Maybe you already know this, but maybe it's something you never thought about. Are your students audio learners? Are they more visual? Do they appreciate books and graphs that show pictures and things like that? Videos, are they video learners? Are they kinesthetic? Do they work better when they're moving? Do they work better when they're active? So these are all things that will help you decide how your homeschool will look and the things that you need to homeschool. So definitely start observing your kids. Also observe their patterns that are already built into them. Are they early risers? Great. That can help you form a better homeschool schedule. Are they, if they're late risers too, but like just knowing which one helps you understand what kind of schedule you're going to build and things like that. The fourth thing you must do before you start homeschooling is researching curriculum. Now, this is so overwhelming. I almost envy, 20 years ago, 30 years ago when people homeschooled and there weren't so many options, because there are just so many options. And a lot of homeschool curriculum is displayed at homeschool conferences or conventions, but I don't know if those are going on right now because of the pandemic. So a lot of this will just be research on your part, knowing getting advice from other parents on what they've used. I have a great resource for you. It's the Facebook group Real Homeschool Moms 2020, where we talk about these things. You can get advice from people about what they do for math, whatever. And so go ahead and join that. I'll put the link down below. So go ahead and join that so that you can also be supported during this time, because it can be overwhelming, especially when it comes to curriculum. But knowing what kind of students you have, what kind of learners they are, audio, visual, and all that stuff will help you in deciding what kind of curriculum will be best for you guys, and also what kind of budget you're working with. A lot of curriculum can get expensive, especially when you know that here's the tidbit. Whatever curriculum you pick, you're going to switch probably. You're going to switch. Kids change. They have different needs than what the curriculum provides. And so it's hard to say, like, try all these curriculums out when they're so dang expensive. So there are a lot of free resources like I share in the group. And so go ahead, and if you don't want to invest in a lot, especially like investing a lot for a curriculum for pre-K or something, go ahead and try these other free resources. There are so many options available to you. It's almost crazy, but you can guide yourself through it. It's just looking and diving into it a little bit more right now. Another thing to think about is homeschool styles. There are so many homeschool styles available, and that's a video that we will post probably next week. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss that. Hit the notification bell so it shows up when it shows up. And so that is another thing that can determine your curriculum. But like I said, we'll look into it next week. Stick around. The fifth thing you have to do before you start homeschooling, sorry, we just watched Hamilton like 3 times, so I'm still kind of in that singing mood, is sketch out your homeschool routine. This is where looking at your kids and who they are as people kind of helps. So if your homeschool routine is set at 6 o'clock in the morning, starting off fresh, and your kid is not awake at that time, that's not going to work. So go ahead and schedule a routine. If you're a working parent and you're trying to homeschool, this will also be a big factor into how your homeschool schedule looks. It does not have to look the 8 to 3 like we're used to. It does not have to look, I promise you, you will never spend that much time homeschooling your kids. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. So think about your routine. Think about things that are already built into your weeks. Think about the things that are already important to you and work your homeschool schedule around this. This is a sketch, like I said, because it's got to be very flexible. You're not going to stick with the same thing starting out, because you'll get into a rhythm of homeschooling that doesn't look like what you think it does now. So go ahead and sketch out. Nothing set in stone. Sketch out what you want your homeschool schedule to look like, and then also start easing your kids into it a little bit at a time. The last thing, the sixth thing that you should do before you start homeschooling is identifying your needs. You as a homeschool leader, it can be overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming. That's what it is. It can be overwhelming. And so you have to have the self-care things in place. I know that's such a buzzword right now, but it's important. And it's not just shopping. It's not just taking baths. It's not all these things. In the homeschool group, talking about self-care, a lot of members said their morning routine sustains them. So like whatever it is for you, do it. That way you don't have an empty cup that you're trying to pour from into your kids. If you are not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of your kids, and they are going to have a hard time in this homeschool semester, and you're going to have a hard time in this homeschool semester. So find the things that you need, take care of yourself, build those into your schedule. Those are the things you don't sketch. That's what you build. And then you can start working off there. Because if you are full, you can give to your kids. If you are empty, you're going to lash out at your kids, and that's not fair to anybody. Don't forget, I have an ebook coming out July 20th, that is going to help you, be just another resource for you during this time to help you decide what your homeschool looks like, if homeschooling is still even for you, and all those fun things. So this month we got this. I look forward to seeing y'all in the Facebook group, getting that ebook to you, all that fun stuff. So go ahead and stick around. I'll see you later. Bye.